Hey everybody, welcome back to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation. I am Drak. Let's get to it, shall we? So in the last episode, we brought back the Ultima Scroll, only to find out that we were too late. There were like 4 villages destroyed at this point by the Emperor of Palamecia's newest weapon, the Cyclone. So we, of course, couldn't have any of that. And we actually worked things out to get a Wind Drake here, so that we were able to fly into the Cyclone, and that's where we're at. And we just got a really nice weapon for Gus. I'm so happy. Okay, and of course we're walking through the electric floor. This is like the one diversion that we needed to do before we went up to the top of the Cyclone to face the Emperor of Palamecia. But now that it's done, we can get right to it, shall we? But first, we must take care of this wood golem that doesn't really look like a wood golem, but totally is a wood golem. Wood golem. These golems are actually a big pain in the butt in this, and they're pretty much in endgame. Like, if people thought that the Gigas or Gyguses were hard, these are the graduated monster. So, because we'll have this to deal with as well as the Mithril Golem later on. Okay, just making sure to get Gus here healed. Poor Gus, he has such a rough life right now. But that's okay, because we're going to keep going. And this will take us back up to the main floor. We're done with our diversion, and now we can go face the Cyclone's owner, aka the Emperor of Palamecia. Makes sense, right? Because, like, in the intro we saw that he was a big magic user, so it would only make sense that he would conjure this up. How he put a building in the middle of it, that's a whole other deal. That's on the level of you don't need to know and oh, look at the pretty bunny. Let's see. So I think this is the end of the diversion. Now we can go make our way to the top while getting attacked in the process. But it's okay, because it's a Gigan Rhino, and we've taken out a dozen of those. We have annihilated the Gigan Rhino species. Ow. Actually, you know what? 80 for like a 3600 HP. That's not really much of an ow. I take that back. That's not really an ow. That's an hee-hee, that tickles. Okay, here we go. And while we are making our way up, a question that I do get is, you know, where am I at and things that I'm currently playing. So let's go ahead and give a quick update on that, because it's been a week from when I last recorded. I have beaten God of War Ascension, and it's not one of the strongest titles. I hate to say that, but given the trilogy that we had gotten beforehand, the story is just meh. It's not necessarily a tale we needed to know. It's not that I'm not happy that we know it. It's just it overall feels kind of pointless. We didn't need to see this crazy side to Kratos, and we didn't need to have his anger and vengeance justified. We knew, at least to some extent, what he was fighting for, and that was enough. So I'm not going to say it's a bad game, because it looks pretty, and its gameplay is God of War. I mean, it plays that very much that way. Its story is just a little weak. I like the fact that they went into something other than the Greek gods, but at the same time, they're also playing on kind of this double entendre, you know, where you have this... Spoiler alert, guys, I think this was a 2012 game. 2013, something like that. Where the god of war, or Ares at this point, has hatched a plan with the Furies to take over Olympus. And so you have these prophecies strewn throughout where, you know, we've seen a prophecy that the god of war will topple Mount Olympus. And to anybody who's played the first 3 games, you go, haha, I get it. They think it's Ares, but it isn't. And so we keep having that thrown in our faces, and it's just, eh. Some of the new mechanics were pretty cool. Manipulation of time and the clone mechanic. I actually dare say, when I first experienced this kind of a mechanic, it was in the Darksiders games, and I didn't really like it. Here I kind of did. Because there were so many puzzles kind of that were stupidly built upon that aspect in Darksiders, whereas in this one, there were puzzles that were built around the cloning, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like they were overwhelmingly trying to get you to do that. I mean, Darksiders eventually has you get a second clone, and so at that point, things get kind of stupidly difficult because you have 2 clones. You don't need them, plus the other thing that bugged me about Darksiders was your clone was stationary, okay? In God of War, you can actually have this clone become kind of an AI character and fight for you. That's a good idea. I don't know why Darksiders never did that. Because that would have been awesome. You could have had a little bit more combat. Oh, wait, that probably was why. Because this was in Darksiders 2, and apparently we can't have too much combat. People think I may be giving a whole lot of flack to the Darksiders series, but it's whiplash. Darksiders 1 I had no problem with. It was what it was. Yes, it has Zelda-esque mechanics, but in a lot of cases I would say it's more like a Devil May Cry. It was a hack and slash. And I was perfectly fine with that. And then we had Darksiders 2, which couldn't really decide what it was. If it was a Dark Zelda game, or if it was a puzzle platformer, or if it was a Diablo clone, or if it was this, that, or the other. Especially the fact that, you know, we get this expansion of worlds, and then we go right back into the dark and dingy. It would have been really cool if Death went to kind of the happier worlds. You know, we got the world of the dwarves, and then we went to the realm of the dead. Wow. That's such a contrast. And we never went anywhere else that was unique like the dwarf world ever again. An open world like that. It was dark, dingy like Darksiders 1. And at that point, I may not have had such a big beef with Darksiders 2 had it just started in the realm of the dead and worked from there. But that's a pretty big beef for me. And to the people who are saying, well, it's not going to matter because the Darksiders 3 is coming, I don't know if I entirely believe that, because Nordic, the only thing they've said on the matter is, we are going to do a collection, we are going to, probably a definitive collection that will go to PS4, or be playable on PS4, or Xbox One for that matter, but I haven't actually heard them say, yes, Darksiders 3 is coming. And part of me is kind of wondering, okay, I think I get what they're going to try and do here. And that is, they're going to bring out this collection, see how well it does. And if it doesn't do well, no Darksiders 3. If it does really well, yeah, we'll do Darksiders 3. And that's not how I would approach that.
But wow, I digress totally into God of War.
Or from God of War into Darksiders. And that was kind of the thing with God of War. I did like a lot of the mechanics and how they made you try to solve these puzzles. And again, you know, the graphics in this game, I can't complain about it. In fact, one of the mechanics that I think should have been in 3 wasn't, and that was the whole, you know, I was making fun of it when I was playing, but it was blade surfing, you know, where you're going, this tower's collapsing and you're using your blade to kind of adjust yourself kind of like a rotor. And that was cool. And it just kind of made me think, you know, instead of having a lot of Icarus Wing puzzles, we could have had that. Where I think there was way too much of an abundance of Icarus Wing puzzles or flying puzzles, basically, in God of War 3, you could have had this puzzle interjected into God of War 3. But not, and it was well used here. Especially since, according to this continuity, he doesn't have the Icarus wings. The only thing that was kind of weird was eventually you get a tool that allows you to see through the Fury's magic. I think it would have been a better idea. I'm not saying you couldn't have done something else as far as an item. But a lot of that was just simply, before then, this is not real, this is not real. He's trying to tell himself that it's not real. And eventually, if he comes to kind of that realization, that might have been a little bit more powerful. But the fact that you give him a MacGuffin that lets him see through deception, it's just... didn't really play out that well. And the ending wasn't all that great. It's trying to give yet another reason for Kratos to want revenge against Ares and Olympus, and it doesn't hold weight. It doesn't hold weight compared to the other one. So, again, I don't hate it. It's a good game. It's a well-developed game. Its story is just lacking. So at that point, I'd probably... if I were to rank the God of War games as I play them... And here's the thing. I haven't played the PSP ones. When I get there, I will let you guys know, but I have not played the PSP ones. Right now, where I would rank things is I would put the original trilogy, or I would put 3 at the top, probably 2 and 1 after that. No, I'd probably put 1 next, because 1 really just set the dang pace. 2, and then Ascension. Because I think 2 did a lot more with its story than Ascension did. Ascension was good, it's not the greatest in the series. 3 would be. Because 3 had the epic conclusion. But yeah, that's my opinion on God of War. I'm actually kind of excited for the next game I'm going to take on, which I'm waiting for, is I'm going to start up the Infamous series, because a lot of people told me I would like that. I remember back, there was the whole debate between... Because Infamous was unique to the PlayStation, and then Xbox said, oh, well, we need a unique superhero game, so we did Prototype. And there was just this big debate on which was better, Infamous or Prototype. And I think Infamous won out, because I haven't seen any other Prototype games. And so I decided to pick it up. Plus, I will admit, the PS4 game, Second Son, has my interest. So, I did get recommended this a while ago, but I will try the 2 Infamous games. Let's see. Aside from that, quick Gotham City update. Or, I want to say Gotham City, jeez. Arkham City. I think I'm almost done with the main story. I think I've got 1 more chapter to go through, and then I'm done with it, and then I can go do the side missions, which I'm totally going to do. I did like the twist involving Hugo Strange. I won't spoil it too much, but it was good. A lot of people are just going to get mad at me. You're going to spoil everything. Okay, fine, I will. I'm so indecisive when it comes to this stuff. But Arkham City's been out for a while, so people who have played it will have played it. Hugo Strange ends up working with Ra's al Ghul. And I love Ra's al Ghul, so I had no problem with that twist at the end, especially with how we get to finish Ra's. It was... wow. That was awesome, actually. I will admit, this is the Ra's that I like, unlike the Batman Begins Ra's al Ghul. I think Liam Neeson was totally underutilized in that role. He could have totally gone nuts with it. But the best part about it, I actually must admit, was after having that whole moment with Mr. Freeze and kind of teasing him, he shoves it back in your face. And it was glorious. It was... because I did the Mr. Freeze boss fight. And that was frustrating enough to the point where it was actually keeping me engaged. And that's what I like in boss fights. You know, they don't have to be stupidly hard or stupidly tedious, but if you want to add in things like, for example, in this one, it adds a stealth element. He can detect you, he can see you, he can do all this stuff, and so the goal here is so he doesn't see you. so that at that point you can damage his suit, and he can't go anywhere. And so the way that they do that is really interesting. Like, you can't just sit there and do the exact same stealth trick every time. You have to do things differently each time. So I love that whole concept, and I love the story. You know, where it ends up where, you know, you're trying to save yourself, and therefore you do the whole teasing scene with Victor Freeze, and then he turns it right back on you because the Joker has taken his wife, and you know, where you kind of. I'm trying to think, do you crush the cryogenic fluid? I don't think you do, but he does. And so at that point, that kind of just demonstrates how far are you willing to go, and obviously Victor Freeze is willing to go farther than Batman. The whole concept also that threw me off was the Talia al Ghul offering the Lazarus Pit to Joker. Holy crap! I never thought that would ever happen. But yeah, it's kind of cool now that you think about it. So that was awesome. I'm trying to think of some other things that I liked about what I've seen thus far. I really do like the race reveal on Hugo Strange. I think that was perfect for how that was turning out. And with this, I'm also very excited to see how this turns out with the side missions. How it's going to unveil more villains. Oh, the other thing I want to mention. So, I think I've played through the last Catwoman mission. I love Catwoman's gameplay. I don't get why a lot of people had problems with it. Because it's a unique take on the stealth genre. You know, where Arkham City doesn't really have those stealth segments for Batman. Mr. Freeze boss fighting not included. But it doesn't really require you to stealth. You can still beat the crap out of everybody, you just have to deal with bullets, okay? And I'll stealth around, but sometimes I just want to kick butt, you know? Where Catwoman actually adds an interesting element in the fact she can climb up on the ceiling, she can climb on the walls, and so it's like, and you need to get like 3 key cards. So at that point it's like, how do I trick this person or get behind them so that I can take it? And most of the time, I just bounced off the freaking walls. It was way too satisfying.
To not do it that way. And the other thing I liked was...
when you get all 3 key cards, you need to actually go to the computer, open the door, and then at that point, it was like, everybody's aware of your presence, except they're not, because you can still walk on the ceiling. And I got to do this really cool double takedown right at the door. Oh, yeah. Catwoman's combat is very satisfying, especially when she's, you know, flying that whip around. Because, like, Batman only gets, like, this dinky cape flip kind of thing, whereas she can actually, like, throw her whip out there and start hitting people with it. So I don't get why a whole lot of people had the problems. It's Selena Kyle, as far as character. I also do like the fact that, apparently, Catwoman worked out a deal with Poison Ivy to water her plants, and she forgot. It works. It works for me. So I don't get a whole lot of why a lot of people had the problems with the Catwoman gameplay. Yes, she gets called the B word and all that, but it's Selena Kyle. Like, she cares. I mean, we're talking about a cat burglar. In essence, you know. I'm sure she's been called worse. And that hasn't fazed her. So, I don't get the controversy. Plus, I don't get why people complain about the gameplay. It's just as satisfying as the Batman gameplay to me. I don't get it. But everybody has their own opinion. Oh, look, we have a boss fight with the green dragon. But not the blue eyes white dragon? Yes, I like to refer to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I always laugh at that old dragon reference. It's powerful because it's not just a dragon. It's got blue eyes. Does it matter? It's bigger than you and it will eat you. But whatever, dude. And we're doing quite a bit of damage, so this guy's gonna go down pretty soon. And what's really kind of sad is I actually don't end up using the item that it gives me. I probably should have found an excuse just to use it, but I couldn't. I wanted to get through the game, and we're to a point where end game is here, and so I'm at this point I'm just kind of powering through the rest of the game because I want to get on to the next one. At least the next one I don't have too many complaints with. It's not great. It's not one of the best, but it's better in my opinion than this game. Snap! Did I say that out loud? Yes, to people who have not seen these videos, first of all, welcome. You must be new here. Second, yes, Final Fantasy II is not one of my favorites. For obvious reasons, I won't go into them again until the end. Then I'll explain why I have such issues. Which at that point, you can have your opinion, and I'll have mine. I'm trying to think of some other things that I actually have been playing during this week. I got into 13.2 a little bit more. And again, I'm loving that game, at least as far as what story it's trying to tell. Again, time travel is kind of squicky, and I'm actually going to hold off because we just hit the top. I am not wasting my time on the likes of you, says the Emperor who's done nothing in this game. Men, take them out! I actually do like this aspect of the game where, an Emperor is not going to face you himself. He's going to send his lackeys to do it first. And so you have to work your way up to the throne. So yes, I will hold off on the 13.2 stuff probably till after this, and then, or maybe even the next part. And then we'll get into the Dragon Warrior for all the Dragon Warrior fans. I'm getting through it, guys. I'm getting through it. Okay, so this is number 1, and yes! I am totally keeping that. I want to give double Venom Axes to Gus. What am I going to get rid of? Get rid of the Titan's Gloves. I'm not going to use them. There we go, Venom Axe. Not bad. Then how about this? What, you summon Pokemon instead of lackeys? No, lackeys, that's what I thought. Okay, let's take out these Royal Guards, because they are just so hard, can't you tell? I'm totally worried. So much so, that I've taken out one already. Will that make it 2? Yes, I will! Mr. Emperor, your Royal Guards are kind of lacking. Especially when I can do that to them. Well, there goes your defenses. Did that work out for you, Mr. Emperor? I don't think it did. Okay, and now we're slowly walking up to the throne. You surprised me. I suppose I have to silence you myself. Yeah, that's how it works. Boss music! And of course we have to get through the stinking wood golem to get to him. But yes, this is the Emperor of Palamecia fight. I did tell you guys that we were at end game, right? Obviously. Okay, that's one Royal Guard down. Are we going to take out the wood golem in one shot? Nope! And the Royal Guard will stay up. And haste. Okay. We got the haste up. And shield. Haha. Barrier 8. Ow. Oh, goodbye, Storm Shadow 217. I swear, I really wish I could turn that thing off so it didn't interrupt gameplay. And now the Emperor is ours for the taking. So let's go ahead and take him. No magic for you, because you're dead. Wow, for a main villain, you were not hard at all. And I got a spell level up because of you. Ha 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 ha. I'm actually not going to take that elixir. I probably should have, but... I will not die! Ah. Well, that looks like you dying. So... Let's go back to Finn. Alright, so the Cyclone has been defeated along with the Emperor, and we're going to go ahead and take a break. So next week, we will celebrate the fact that we have taken out the Emperor of Palamecia. Till then, I am Drak, and this has been a Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation.